Way too watery. Way too watery. Fuck.
After a back injury, layoff, she started to find her form. This really
All right, quick pit stop. We're just over 10 miles here, about 10 and a half. So far, just get on the record here. Had one full bottle of Gatorade that I kind of ran with, 43 grams of carbohydrates, and I put a noon tablet in it as well, just for some extra sodium electrolytes. It is, as you can probably see, very toasty out today, almost 90 degrees. So just want to make sure I'm getting salt in as well. This Gatorade that I'm going to take with me, I have half a noon tablet in this, and then just water here. Honestly, like when it's so hot and everything, I'm sweating so much, like water just tastes great sometimes. So getting some water in, but man, this has been a difficult run so far. Like, I know every session matters with 4 or 5 weeks of hard training left, and I'm just trying to keep my mind focused on the long-term goal, which is a sub 250 marathon at Chicago. And so, you know, it's really easy for me to lose focus of my goals sometimes and to feel sorry for myself or down or whatever, but always good to zoom out, and I try to remind myself of that. Zoom out from wherever I am currently. Usually helps me feel a little better, get my mind on my long-term goals, my aspirations, and where I want to be, because you don't always get the immediate positive feedback from one run or whatever, you know, whatever you're going after. So I'm just trying today, with about 7.5 miles to go of this long run, to zoom out, remember my goals, and remember how hard I've worked already this year. I mean, I've run almost 1,200 miles this year, which is crazy for me. That's a lot of miles. So, man, I just want to run fast, and I want to do a great job at Chicago. So, keep my mind on that as I finish up this run. But I'm gonna get some water, gonna get some Gatorade, talk less, and get back to running. So we'll finish this thing up, and it'll feel great to get back to this air-conditioned car here in a sec. Run complete. Holy shnikes. 18 miles, 7:25 minute per mile pace, 2 hours 13 minutes. It's really hot out here. It's 90 degrees. That was tough. Got 5 miles at marathon pace mixed into that 18-mile run. My legs, everything felt fantastic, and like, I'm just proud to get it done. That wraps up, I can't believe it actually, a 60-mile week here. I will, when I get back to the house, after we get something to eat, go through the week. I know it's been a while since I made a video. So just chat about what the last couple weeks have looked like, and then what this past week, 60-mile week, has looked like. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of things happening in my world, a lot of positives though. So we'll go through all that and wrap up the video. But this was a super positive run, a super positive week. And I feel really great. I feel right on track for October 13th, the Chicago Marathon. My priority now, finishing this run, is number one. I'm gonna get a good, probably 10, 15 minute stretch. I think that's part of the reason I've been feeling so great this week, is I've been stretching like a madman after my runs. So 2 to 3 sets, or like stretches of maybe 20 to 30 seconds each per muscle group after I've been running, and I felt fantastic. Like my legs have felt better than they've felt in, I don't even know how long, a long time. So I'll get a stretch in here, and then I need to get, because it was so hot, I sweat a lot. I mean, like, I feel like I have no liquid left in my body. My tongue is dry. I'm not even sweating anymore, just from, I think, being so dehydrated. So get fluids back in me, get electrolytes back in, and then carbohydrates and protein, in other words, a meal, as quickly as possible. So those are the priorities after running: stretch, fluids, food, and then we'll chat about the last few weeks. And that's all. Oh yeah. Oh, you good girl. Oh, you good girl. Hi. Part of the success of long runs to me is you work hard, you do a good job during your run, and when you're running for 2.5, 3 hours, you burn a lot of calories. You need to get calories and food and water and everything back in your system. Give yourself a little love after the run. I'm not saying go eat like an ice cream cake from Dairy Queen, like an 18-inch ice cream cake, but give yourself a little love. Find those things that you enjoy that maybe you don't normally indulge in, and fucking have some of them. So yo, these San Pellegrinos, I gave one of these to my mom the other day. She was like, this is so good. It's because it's just all sugar, 30 grams of sugar. But after a big effort, sugar's all good. And these are carbonated too. So my stomach was actually a little upset. I was feeling a little nauseous after this run in the heat. And I picked these up the other day just with having a big training week and knowing I had this big run today. So this is actually my second one, and they're delicious. And what I'm saying is, if you like ice cream or whatever shit you're into, go get it after, you put in a big effort, and just enjoy. Don't worry about it, because you need it. It's good for your body, because you just took a lot from your body. You have to get that back in some way, shape, or form. Like I said, we don't want it all to be ice cream, but if 500, 800 of those calories are a nice ice cream that you enjoy, that makes your night or your week better, go fucking get it. So I'm gonna sip on this. I'll probably have some ice cream later too, if I'm being real. And I got some Chipotle after. So I'm just chilling right now, watching college football and hanging out and really just getting off my feet. And as promised earlier, we will in 1 second chat about the last couple weeks. Side note here, I ate a bunch of Greek yogurt last night. First time in like 7-8 years that I've had Greek yogurt. Didn't know that it was, or I kind of knew like about it as like probiotics or whatever in it, which are good for you, for your gut. But if you're not used to them, you gotta like go in small doses to start. I had a lot. I had like like a giant bowl of yogurt, and my stomach has been destroyed today. I was feeling it during the run, and then I've just been like, this might be too TMI, but in and out of the bathroom. So, zoiks. But all that's to say, stop for another trip here. Shit. All right, we're here in my mother's basement, and we're talking about the last few weeks. So, it's been a wild last few weeks. The big change is I got a new job, and it's in a new city, which are both big changes. So the positives, the huge positives are the job is in sports, working in athletics, which is where I'm passionate. It's cool because it's in a new spot, you know, that I get to explore and immerse myself in a new city. So I'll be living in Memphis, Tennessee, starting next week. Now, the last 2 weeks I was actually in Memphis. I was working, and we have a couple weeks off here before we get into kind of busy season. So I was expecting to be able to run hard, hit my workouts, and have a couple great weeks as I start this new job. Usually things are a little chiller as you start something new. And yes, there's a lot of changes, but I thought that I'd have more time than I ended up having. So it turned out that it was a very large change, obviously, and it came with a lot of things I had to do, longer days, and just more fatigue and tiredness, to be honest. Now, that's not entirely why I wasn't running as much as I wanted to over the last 2 weeks. The Friday before I left, in packing up everything and moving out of my place in Denver, went for a workout run, and about halfway through, I was doing 20 by 1 minute, which is a very fast-paced workout. About halfway through that, I started to feel not something tight in my left hamstring. Usually not a good sign, especially when I've done speed work in the past. When I start to feel the hamstring, not like your run-of-the-mill soreness, but more like a strain or something is wrong. It hasn't been good, and it's usually overuse of my hamstrings. That always has popped up for me in the past with faster runs, especially faster workouts, and that's what happened. So had a tightness in my hamstring, muscle strain, which basically the only remedy for is rest. So going into moving to Memphis, I took a few days off, gave it another shot on Tuesday morning, and after about 3 easy miles, felt my hamstring pop up again, that same tightness, that same strain. So it is what it is. Now, in the past, I've tried to come back maybe a day or two later, again and again and again. Usually you feel the same issue and you just haven't given it enough rest, and that is extremely frustrating. So what I choose to do now, I've said this in previous videos, I prioritize health over everything. Number one, for my mental and for my life, just being better. It sucks to be hurt and walking around limping or whatever all day. But then number two is that gets you back in the game faster every single time. If you go 2-3 days and you try to rush back, usually you have another setback, and then you're just 2-3 days behind where you would have been if you rested during that time. So health for me is number one, and I want my body and my muscles and everything to be healthy. And usually with cases like this of overuse injuries, the remedy is just rest. So that first week in Memphis, which was now 2 weeks ago, I took off by and large. Now, I say that, but I was still active doing things that didn't hurt as I did them. So we were playing tennis a lot of nights. We were playing pickleball. I was on the basketball court quite a bit. So just moving around and still being active, going for walks. Things that don't upset whatever issue you have going on, by all means, continue to do those. I think it's great to stay active. Number one, for me to feel good, but then also to keep some level of fitness.
Now, the next week, I got a few runs in. I believe I totaled about 19 miles total, all easy miles until last Friday. So that would have been that was 2 weeks following that first injury. I got just a very simple 2 by 2 miles at marathon pace workout in, 6 total miles just on the treadmill, and everything checked out pretty good. So easing back into those fast miles. Now, all that to say, I got back to Denver on Saturday. I wasn't working this past week, or working very minimally, I should say, and I had a hell of a week. One of the best weeks I've ever had in marathon training. 60 miles total, which we're going to jump into in a sec. But I have to mention that, like, going into this week, last Sunday, I'm thinking to myself, do I even run the Chicago Marathon in 6-7 weeks? Like, have these last 2 weeks ruined all my preparation? And I really battled with that question. I was obviously feeling down and down on myself, but seriously considering not running this race that I have prepared for and that I've been preparing for all year, really. I mean, I've run a lot this year, and that ultimately gave me my answer of, fuck yeah, I'm running this race. You know, I think running and lifting, and why I enjoy them so much, is because they honor and reward consistency more than intensity. What that means is, if you are consistent over months and years, you're going to improve. And I mean consistently putting in a good effort, months after months after months, month after month, into years. You're going to improve. You're going to see results. You're going to get better and better and better. Now, what's cool about that is when I face something like the last 2 weeks, where I run 3 miles 2 weeks ago, and then I run 19 miles last week in the middle of a marathon build, that's obviously not ideal. But I've run almost 1,200 miles this calendar year leading up to the last 2 weeks. So I have this ginormous base that's not going to just go away and completely go out the window because of 2 not so stellar weeks of not doing much. I was prioritizing my health. I'm now healthy, and I'm seeing the fruits of that this past week with a really great week. But the point here is, I was doubting myself. I was doubting my preparation. And then I took a step back. I zoomed out, like I said earlier, and I just saw the bigger picture for what it was. And what that is that I ran the Boston Marathon this year. I raced the Austin Half Marathon in February, and I ran a 50-mile race in June. I put in time and energy to prepare for all of those, and I have a huge base to show for that. And it'd be a disservice to me and anybody that believes in me to not go and race and give my best for 5 weeks here leading up to the Chicago Marathon. So, all that to say, I made the firm decision. I'm going to put in a great effort this week, see what happens, and then I'm going to put in a great effort the next 3-4 weeks. What's cool about that is when you say that, and then you have a really great week. And that's what happened this week. I said it earlier, I wasn't really working much this week, which allowed me to focus my energy and effort into running hard and then recovering in the form of stretching mainly and sleeping. With all that being said, Monday of this week, I got to Mount Sanitas in Boulder, one of my favorite places on the planet. I did a double loop of the loop I normally do. It's a 5.5 mile loop. It's 1,250 or so feet of gain, very steep at the start. You get to the summit, and then you run down a gradual trail on the backside. I did that twice for 11 miles total, about 2,500 feet of gain. What a positive way to start out the week. I just really needed to shake off the doubt, the rust of not running, and shock my system into, you're fucking doing this and we're going to have a great week. So that's what I did on Monday. Tuesday was just an easy 8-mile run. 8 miles, about an hour of easy running has become my kind of standard easy day when we're throwing in easy days throughout the week. Wednesday was a huge effort, 5x1 miles. I posted a few 5x1 mile workout videos on this channel before. I think it's a staple marathon workout. I did 5 miles with a mile warm up, mile cool down, or like a mile and a half warm up, mile cool down. Each mile rep was between 5:30 and about 5:38 per mile. And with the heat, it was about 92 degrees that day. I think that's a phenomenal output that I'm really happy with. So got through that workout. It was not easy. It was the opposite of easy. It was really hard, but really great workout. Thursday. The fuck did we do on Thursday? What did we do on Thursday? Shit, this is why I need this Strava up. I'll get my days confused. Thursday was an easy 10-mile run, trail run, at another trail in Superior, Colorado that I run a lot. It's a 14-mile loop. I just did a 5-mile out and back. The cool part about that run was it had about 700-800 feet of elevation gain and then descent in that run. Another great run. Did it about, I don't know, 8 minutes per mile or so pace. Friday, we went up to Breckenridge, Colorado, so a mountain town, for a little staycation. So Friday afternoon, once we got to Breck, I just did an easy 4-miler around. It ended up being like a trail run and really not that easy. It was like 400, 500 feet of gain when it was all said and done. I realized after when I looked at the map that I was going kind of up a ski hill, but that was like 3.5, 4 miles, something like that. And then Saturday, getting ready for today's run, just a really easy, we did like a 2-mile hike, again, kind of up that ski slope and then back. And then today, huge efforts. So I went to Denver for this run today. 18 miles was the plan. Now, because I only had one workout day this week, and then the rest was like mostly easy running, however, some challenging trail runs, I did want to sprinkle in some workout paces into this run. So what that looked like was 18 miles, 3 easy miles, 7:54, 7:42, 8:06, and then went into 2 marathon pace miles, 6:26, 6:26, really good. I did 3 more easy, 7:37, 7:34, 7:42. And then 2 more marathon pace, 6:24. The second one was at 6:16. So cooked up the pace a little bit. And then 2 easy miles, 8:03, 7:50. And then one last one at marathon pace, 6:23. And then finished out with easy miles, 7:58 per mile, 8, 7:42, 7:42, 7:47. So a really good effort all around. It was hot. It was about 90 degrees. I fueled up with, like I showed, a couple Gatorades, some Noon, and then tons of water during and then after as well. That's the week. It was 60 miles, something I really have not done very much. Like I probably run like 5 60-mile weeks in my lifetime. I've always struggled to add volume, and I feel great, to be honest. One thing that I think has been huge for me is I haven't been rushed to finish these runs and go back to work or go wherever I need to go next. I've had time after each to slow down, stretch for 10, 15 minutes, give each of my muscles 2 to 3 sets of stretching per muscle group, and it's been huge for me. So I think that's a huge reason I feel so good, but my legs feel great. I'm obviously a little tired right now after this big run today, but on track for this marathon, which I'm so excited about. I see 250 in my sights. I know the next 3-4 weeks are crucial. I plan to get a 20-miler in, a 22-mile workout day in, and then probably one last 20-miler to have a total of 3 runs over 20 miles. Probably sticking around the 60 to 65 to 70-mile range, God willing. And then we'll taper and we'll get to Chicago. Planning to make consistent videos for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks leading up to race day. I will include workouts. I'll include long runs. So it should be a cool series to finish up. I'm going to stick with it, I promise. And that's really all I got. Thanks for watching. As always, if you made it this far in the video, God bless you. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe, share this video, and we'll keep training for Chicago. I'm excited. Holla.